Everybody's Tyler here at the Highlander Summit Signature event, checking in 2145V Pink Swirlee Unicorns. We checked in with one of their other teams earlier this year, and Pink Swirlee having a phenomenal event so far, so we're interested to dive more into what their robot brings. Just a lot of great different amalgamations, I think, of successful game pieces that we've seen so far. Multiple different D-score mechs that we'll be talking about, 480 RPM drivetrain, and a lot of great stuff that goes into this. So let's dive into all about the robot coming up here on Fits and Parts. Luke, let's dive more into this robot here. Talking about that 40 RPM drivetrain, extremely impressed with that. And then you got some cool stuff with passive funnels and a little bit more on your intake too you want to talk about.
Yeah, so right here we have 480 RPM drive, 48 teeth to 60 teeth. And what this does is it's a little bit faster than 450, which is what most teams are running. And, it gives us a little edge when we're trying to go from goal to goal to, get an advantage over like the teams that are a little bit slower than us. It helps us to play defense better. So yeah, and then also I would like to talk about everything that we have mounted, like our brain, our tank, and all in the battery. This is all mounted like really low. This gives us a really low center of gravity. It helps us to when I'm driving, I'm able to drive as fast as possible without tipping, and it also helps to just give us a little bit like more control when I'm driving. So yeah, and then I also want to talk about our intake structure right here. So what we have is we have a pivoting intake right here, and with flex wheels, and we have a little chain tensioner here. And if you could just, the chain tensioner actually makes it keep contact the entire time, and it acts to actually intake faster. And then we also have these flaps right here, and what it's able to do is, and there's also zip ties here, so the balls are able to freely just move in there so that the motor doesn't burn out, and it's able to just stay in the robot when we want to fill it up with like around 8 to 9 balls. We also have the top stage here. What this does is this shoots the ball out, like, and that shoots us out, and we're using one motor for each stage, and that gives us full power, like just so that we can really push that, against teams that like only have like a half motor. So yeah, and then that's about it. And also for middle goal scoring, we have this little piston here, and then we have a macro where if we press this button, it runs the middle goal. It presses down this right here, and then it runs the outtake so that it's able to score consistently.
So looking at Mall of America event, I think your entire program has vastly improved coming into Highlander.
Yes.
So far. What do you think like the biggest key to improvement has been from Mall of America to Highlander?
Just really seeing like what went wrong with Mall of America, like what was the things that made us just below the competition, and we really like made sure that we were above and like ready for this competition. Mall of America, everything was last minute. So, we wanted to really be ready this competition. We also just learned from the teams that did the best at Mall of America. And that's why we like integrated from different teams like 9123X and 16610A.
And obviously paying good dividends as you're having a great performance here so far. Let's pass over to Cullen, talk more about your D-score mechs. I love that you guys are running 3, by the way. Most teams we talk to only have like 1 or 2 or something like that, but you add a third one as well too. So break these down for me and how you're utilizing them.
Yeah, thank you. So basically for our D-score mechs, we have our main one, which after we score, it's on our hood, and it like just pushes it out more. So first off, it can't come back out. And it keeps it like steady, and the only thing that like keeps it in is the motors, which are way stronger than this. And then also, if you drive back and then you drive forward, it knocks them out the back, giving us a better advantage and more chance to get control zone. And then moving on to our wing. Want to activate that? Our wings, they hover over the goal, and then when we're ready, we click it in, and it's like hooked into that channel, and you can like either pull it out or push in depending on what color it is that we want to get to the control zone or knock out. And then here's our final second most used D-score mech, our middle goal D-score mech for the top middle goal. So when there's like a bunch in there, we don't even have to go that fast. We could slowly go in and it pushes all the rest out. Especially since that tube is so short, it just slides right out most of the times.
So from a match strategy, is this all pretty situational for you, or do you find like, hey, at a certain point in the match, typically we're finding ourselves D-scoring at some certain point in time? Can you kind of break that down a little bit for me?
Oh yeah. For instance, this, you just like go in and it D-scores. This one, you go in and it D-scores. This one, you have to like line it up. This one, you have to like line up and then like push it in for it to actually work.
Are you using it as more of like a defensive move then to actually like keep your own blocks in, or are you finding your wings are actually using it also D-score at the same time?
More so both, because we can have like a room for like less balls to be in the actual tube, and for just D-scoring in general.
Sure. Let's pass over to Grady on finalize a few other aspects of this robot. First up, your match lure, which is apparently called Little Will. We'll have to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
And also a bit more on your controller screen and some of the customization you're doing on that too.
So one thing that I personally haven't seen on a bunch of other robots is our match loader mech actually uses a high strength axle instead of standoffs, which standoffs actually bend a lot from what we've seen. So we are just able to cut drill 4 holes into it, into a high strength axle, and it works pretty well without bending. We also use a poly piece that is really flexible, which allows us to basically just get blocks that are like blocks in almost any position in the match loader. And then, so like Luke was talking about, our brain being so low down, it's hard to access and change any autos that we want to do for that match, which has made us need to make a controller auto selector, which you can control with the arrows. It's unfortunately quite slow, but I think that's as fast as we can actually get it because of the just how VEX and the controllers work.
Well, overall, 2145V, congratulations on a great performance so far. We're filming this at the end of day 1, and you're in the, I think, top 5 right now. So looking great so far, but we can't wait to see how you do the rest of the way. Thanks for taking the time to tell us more about this, and we can't wait to see how you do throughout the rest of the season. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.